Google partners. I've turned the recording on, and we are about to start into how you can actually work and really make good business decisions utilizing analytics. So let's dive in. If you need anything Google, if you look at the blue link there at the very middle, that is where you can find all things Google that you'll need, as well as if you're tweeting or posting, feel free to use that hashtag Grow with Google. It's wonderful because if you tag me, I'll of course retweet you and repost you out, and you'll see at the very bottom, this is me on Twitter or X, Maria Duron, and this is me on Instagram. Get found, got growth, okay? So let's go ahead and dive in, everyone. Now, this is who I am. How many of you this is your first time in a session with me? I'd love for you to just let me know, give a shout out in the chat box, because I'd love to know. I do see some people here who are here for the first time. Yes, perfect. First timers, welcome. I do see some people here who are returning. So thank you for being here. You'll find I'm super energetic. I get passionate about what I'm doing because I come from a small business background. Do know that I've been in small business 18 plus years. I started at the very beginning, ground up. Gratefully, I became involved with a business incubator, so I had a bunch of people who helped me really understand all the skill sets that I didn't have that were in my blind side, like accounting and different aspects of business, and that truly has elevated and propelled me. I've earned the Texas Governor's Excellence in Small Business Award, and 7 years ago, the Google team looked me up and they asked me to come train because I know what it's like to be butcher, baker, candlestick maker in the business, as well as be chief marketer and chief analyst. So I understand that you're not just in a box doing this, you're also taking care of customers, and that all takes time. And we all only have 86,400 seconds in any given day. So while we know there's a lot of data out there, data can make a briefcase heavy, but it doesn't mean that you're going to learn a lot. There are things that we know that are things that are neat to know, and there are things in our business that we need to know. And a lot of times when you go into analytics and insights, we become confused because we see so many bright, shiny objects. We're not quite sure what one is the one that is measuring whether or not we are getting closer to our goal or we're lifting that bottom line. So we know there's a lot out there. I mean, there's so much AI right there. Ooh. Hello, April. Sorry, I tried to say that all together. I was going to say, we have so much AI out there, and I saw April's wave. So I had to stop for a moment. Now you know this is real and live. I am not a recording of me. Hello, Marla. I see you from REIWBC. Thank you for being here, and thank you so much for inviting your community and making sure they had this. So we know that data tells us a story, right? We need to know this information. I'm going to take you through a scenario that is real and everyday that I talk to people about. And that is, if I had a little shop, let's say I had a shop or even a grocery store, right? I was telling you I used to work for HEB. So we would heavily watch what influx was coming into the store, who spent a lot of time on aisle 4 or aisle 2, a lot of study. In fact, there's a whole book on how people shop, and if something touches them in the back, they'll move on. So you don't want anything too close because you want them to stay and shop. Longer they stay, longer they shop. Amazon knows this because most people stay about 17 minutes on Amazon, and if they can get you to stay that long at Amazon.com, that means you're buying something. So as we study people, for example, at a store, if you had a store and you had people coming in every day, going in from aisle 1 to aisle 3 and then leaving, 1, 3, leaving all morning long. And then at noon, all of a sudden people started coming in that were going to aisle 1, aisle 4, aisle 3, and now they're buying. 1, 4, 3, buy. 1, 4, 3, buy. Now you'd have some questions. Is it the people in the morning or is it the people in the afternoon? Is there something on aisle 4 that really they need to see to help them make their decision? Is there something on aisle 1 that's stopping them? What are some of the differences so I can get better? Maybe if it's the thing on aisle 4, that's it. I need to put whatever's on aisle 4 on every aisle. And immediately the first thing they see when they come in. If it's the afternoon people, then maybe I don't need to be open in the morning. Maybe I can open up at 11 or 11:30, a little bit later, just giving those afternoon people time to get up and get going and to know that we're open and ready for business. What is it? So you have those questions too. But now I'm going to take it to the e-commerce, or actually the online realm, because you don't have to just sell e-commerce to understand analytics. If I was a nonprofit and I wanted to understand my sponsors and my donors, and I knew somebody would donate and be able to friend raise, if they saw what was on aisle 4, that would make a big difference. You see, in the digital world, we wonder when people come in on page 1, then they look at page 3, and then they leave our website. 1-3, leave our website. 1-3. But then they come in the afternoon and they go to 1-4. What is it in page 4 that's the secret sauce? Or who is our better audience, who's more likely to buy from us, that comes in the afternoon? And do I really need to be posting on TikTok and socials in the morning, or is the afternoon when the most likely person who's going to do business with us is going to see our messaging and potentially even our ads? So as we look and see how data tells a story, it lets us know where they're from, what's most important to them, and it really helps us understand better our customer, their struggle, and their decision journey. And this is all on us, because knowing our customers, all of that, that's our heavy lifting. That's our heavy work, and we are responsible for being experts in our customers. So today I'm going to talk to you about Google Analytics 4, but not just talk to you, walk you through what you as a small business who's a busy business person needs to look at in Google Analytics that is going to make a difference in really getting them to do whatever it is you deem successful online. So you're going to hear me say buy a lot. That's because I come from 15 years of international e-commerce. But do understand, before I was with the Google team, I actually ran my own business. And before that, I was an executive director for a nonprofit, a national nonprofit, and I did a lot of fundraising. And all of that, as far as everything happening online, all started with fundraising and people friend raising and doing that. So I understand the importance of being able to get some people to do something successful on your site. What is that? It doesn't mean that they buy. It could be that they watch a video, download a PDF, give you their contact information, fill out a form, share you with somebody, post or tweet something. Whatever it is, whatever you deem as successful, read your blog post. Then you need to be measuring that, because if you're not measuring, you're not marketing. $1 or even 1 minute, because I hear the argument about socials is free, but your time is not free. So $1 or 1 minute that's not getting you closer to the bottom line or lifting that goal is $1 or 1 minute spent too much. So let's look at how we can understand our Google account and Google Analytics, which is 100% free. Everything that I'm talking about today, 100% everything is 100% free with a free personal Gmail or free Google account. So understand you already have access to this. We'll show you how to use the Google Analytics search box, because July 1st, Google Analytics totally changed. We sunsetted the old Universal Analytics and it became Google Analytics 4, which is truly better, and I'll explain to you why in a moment. We're also going to talk about how you can use Google Analytics with Google Ads, and that I'll show you the free portion of that, because there is some free, and then always I end with recap and resources that are free or that'll help you get a little bit further, so it could be free or small fee. So let's dive in. All right, everybody, let's talk about Google Analytics. Let me know in the chat box if you're using Google Analytics already. I would love to know if you're already using that. In this instance, while you're doing that, I'm going to tell you about these business owners, Eva and Ricky. Eva and Ricky have a t-shirt, actually a fashion shop. So as they look at their fashion shop, they know their face-to-face customers and people who come into their boutique, but they really can't understand really why popular local items that they're selling in their boutique are not selling online. And they started to use Google Analytics. So you can use that, as I said, for free. You don't have to have Gmail even. You can just sign up for a free Google account. Let me put that here. You can go to HTTPS. Oops, all capitals in there. Let's try that again. Don't want to shout at you. But you can go to google.com/accounts. And as you look at google.com/accounts, go ahead and take a look at starting an account. You can put your email now. It doesn't change it. Create a password, and like any other password protected site online, you'll use your email and password to get there. So yes, a lot of people have had ad agencies taking care of this, and I want you to know enough to know what information you need to see and if they're giving you all the transparency and visibility for you to make good business decisions. Because while you've made business decisions, or you may have made business decisions by gut, what served you now will not serve you to get you to the next level. So keep that in mind. You really need to understand exactly what your business is doing and what your customers are doing, and how and what information is important to them. The first and most important part of starting Google Analytics, and this is where everyone, I will tell you, 99% fail at this, because they don't SMART test all their goals. So SMART it stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So if I just say, I want 100 more sales, or I want more money, then 1 penny when I'm 99 years old is more money. Is that what you consider more money, making more money. So be specific. How much money specifically? I'd like to make $5,000 more this month. Okay, and I'm going to measure it at the end of the month. So let's smart test that. Is it specific? Yes. Is it attainable? Well, I don't know what your history is, so I don't know if you've done anything close to 5,000 or you just made $100 in your business a month. So 5,000 is truly a big, audacious goal. You need to know that. That's all on you. But is it specific? Measurable? Can we measure it? Yes, we can measure how much money we get. Is it attainable? Is it relevant? Actually, yes, relevant. More money means I'm growing my business, lifting that bottom line. Is it time bound by the end of the month? Yes. Those 5 points, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely, are critical. And if you miss one, then you will miss that trajectory and you will miss your goal. So it's important to do a smart test of all of our goals. Now, a lot of times I will talk to people on socials, and I'm a big fan of socials. I'm on all of them, and I'll show you how to find me there also as we finish up. But I do want you to actually see that as you look at goals, every goal, not just what you're doing within Google Analytics, but anything in your business needs to be smart tested. So for example, let's say I'm on Instagram and I want 100 new followers on Instagram. That may make me feel good. And a lot of times people will refer to that as a vanity metric. I just like to feel good. I just want that little dose there of a shot of good feeling. But if I could say, I want 100 people in Instagram that are more followers, and this is why. Because I know in my link, so I've got four links within the Instagram profile. One of them takes them to where they can get additional information and a free visibility plan from me. I know that when I have 100 followers, I can get 50 of people to actually sign up for the free visibility plan. So I get 50 email addresses. Of the 50 email addresses, I will get 8 people to do business with me and 10 to become members of our Market in Moments office hours. Now I can quantify because I know how much it is for people to become a client or to become a member. So you see, now I'm drawing that in. Maybe you don't have any money associated with it. You know that socials is rented land, and that if Instagram, for any reason, for whatever cause, takes your account down, then how are you going to ever get in touch with those people if that account does not reestablish? What is it that you're going to do? So maybe your purpose is to capture their email address. You don't want any money. You just want the ability to connect with them somewhere outside of the platform if the platform goes down. Again, be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. What does this bring to your bottom line or bring you closer to your goal? So for Eva and Ricky, it was that they wanted their goal to increase by visitors by 10% for 3 cities. So they had 3 cities that they were looking at here, and you can see them there on the map to the right. And they wanted that by next quarter. All right, let's test it, everybody. Is it specific? Yes, it is very specific. They want to increase visitors, 3 target cities, next quarter. Is it measurable? Absolutely. I can measure on analytics if people in what cities that they're coming from. I can measure when next quarter is. I know what the months are, and a 10% increase. I can see what our visitors are now, and I can calculate what a 10% increase is. So it is measurable. Is it attainable? I don't know, but if you looked at Eva and Ricky, or even Ricky's analytics or their history, you might be able to see that. And they should know that. You will know your numbers. That's important for us to know. If anything, I learned in the business incubator is know your numbers, live and die by them, because the numbers don't lie. And then, of course, is it relevant? Yes, it's relevant. This will grow their business. Is it time bound? Yes, next quarter. So you can see it passed the SMART test. So they created those theme cities, and they really focused on socials, and they watched analytics. So for you, what are your goals? Why does your website, why do you do what you do on digital, right? Why is it that you're doing all these things, from your profiles, your socials, to your actual website? Is it for sales? Is it leads? Is it appointments? What is it? Okay. And the reason I take a look at this is because specific goals are really important. If you're just hoping to get more business because everybody else is online, hope is wonderful to have, but it's a poor strategy. You really need to have a goal of what you're focused on. And you want to make sure that you're specific about it, because if you target anybody, everybody, and somebody, you'll get their second cousin, Nobody. It is too confusing. It's too much for us to remember, and we don't get the messaging. Your messaging on your site, on your socials, every post that you're putting out, every video, every photo needs to be and resonate with them, that they think, oh my gosh, they get me. They're the ones who can help me on whether or not I need their product, service, or solution to help me with my problem. All right, so what is Google Analytics? I told you it's already a free tool with Gmail or a free Google account, so you've got that already, and I see some of you are using it. This is what it looks like when you're in the back end. So it helps you understand and it helps you become that expert at your best customer. You need to understand who they are, because if you're going to focus and target 100 more just like them, you need to know who they are, where to find them, what they do, how they like to spend time, what's their interest, and what pitfalls that they could come against, even as they're looking for a solution that your service or product could provide. What could be a pitfall along that way, or a mistake that they can make in securing somebody to help them with that, or a product to help them, and what are the pitfalls and dangers that they could run into afterwards, and how you can help them. Learn actually the marketing strategies that work for them. While it may feel good that people are coming in through TikTok, is it really where you're getting the most business? Or Pinterest, which really takes so much time and just you think is so yesterday, but really that's the one driving the business. You need to look at the numbers, right? Look at the numbers, because the numbers don't lie. You can lie about the numbers, but they don't lie. And this will help you make better business decisions. You can know what's actually resonating with your content. Are they watching that video all the way through? Did they just read that blog post, the first sentence, and then that was it? Did they look at that product listing or that service listing and they said, oh, that's not me, and they went on? Did they leave your site to go look at your socials for social cred? Did they leave your website and go to a competitor's website? Because you can measure that as well. What are they doing? And which channels really are getting you the most conversions? Now, remember what I said, I come from an e-commerce background. But as I say that, remember that even though I'm talking about e-commerce, conversion means a success event on your site, something successful that you want to happen, that's a part of your goal or getting you to the goal. So it's a natural step to the goal that happens on your website. That's a conversion event. So it could be, as I said, somebody leaving their email address, filling out a form, watching a video completely, reading a blog post, leaving their contact information. It could be any of those. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to buy something for you and there's an exchange of dollars. There is an exchange of value, and people are very protective of their email address. So they will only give it to somebody who is going to give them and deliver value. So as we look at Google Analytics, if you're doing this for the first time, you'll go to g.co/analytics. If you are logged into your Gmail account, all you need to do is click sign into analytics here. You see that right above this woman's photo to the right here, without the box around it. You just click there and it will refresh. It'll recognize your credentials and it'll bring you in. And now you set up your property. So how to understand your account is when you drop into Google Analytics, just like any other Google tool, all the navigation happens on the left side. You're going to click there. You'll see Home, Reports, Explore, and Advertise. That's how you can get around Google Analytics 4. Home is where you'll be dropped in by default. What you need to do when you're in there is to get to know the reports, because there are lots of different reports here and you can customize the information. Like, for example, just I think day before yesterday, they launched a new report, which is the checkout behavior report. And that's an interesting report, especially for somebody from the e-commerce background, because a lot of times we hear of a term called cart abandonment. So what cart abandonment is, if you have a product or service that people are buying from your site, when they put it in the cart to check out, just like it sounds like you were going down a grocery store aisle and you had something in the cart and you just left the cart. You decided, that's it, I don't want it, I'm leaving it, I'm not going to do anything with it, and you walk away. That's what's known as cart abandonment. So you can measure that on your site, what your cart abandonment rate is. But checkout, a lot of times you can't measure because that's where all the payment happens. But there is a checkout behavior journey now, which lets you know what's they're really running into in the checkout, which sometimes it's maybe some of your lettering's off, and so they don't feel that comfortable that you're a trustworthy site. So they think you're a phishing site and they don't want to leave their payment information. Maybe they don't feel you're secure and they're not sure how to check that. Or it could be that you don't offer them Shop Pay or Apple Pay, and they're not about to get up off the couch and go get their credit card. So if you don't do that, they're not going to buy buy from you anyway. So you might be able to see some of that now with the checkout journey. I'm exploring that, and I will update you and update these slides as I find out more about that and get with the Google team, because that just launched. So you see the standard report options. You can actually compare. You can look at the date range. If you look at the top right hand corner there, you can look at the date range, and you can filter for specifics, because let's say I have that store, that online store that I gave you in the scenario where people come all morning long and they don't buy, but excuse me, but let's say they come in the afternoon, and I just want to filter for people who visit in the afternoon. Or I just want to filter for people who use Shop Pay or Apple Pay. Or I just want to filter for people who come from Durant, Oklahoma. I can do that with filters and get very specific to, again, become that expert and really understanding my customers. So when you're in your reports for the first time, as you click on it, it will expand out. So you see that left-hand margin, how it expands out. And below the report snapshot, so the report snapshot is giving you that highlight when you're looking at reports, is real time. If you click on real time, that's where you can see what's happening on your site right now in real time. Why does that matter? Well, let's say, for example, I just did an amazing post on Instagram. I put it on Reels, I put it on TikTok. It's actually launching on YouTube Shorts. And I want to know if any of those are working to drive traffic on my site, because I specifically said, come to the site because you're going to get this. So I can go to this real-time report and I can take a good look to see, is it working? Do I see people coming in? Where are they coming from? Are they coming from Facebook or from Meta because it's coming from Instagram? Are they coming from TikTok? Are they coming from an email I just launched? I can find out in real time if this is working. So if you're working with an ad agency and they are not giving you access to see all of these things on your own, then you need to tell them that you want access. And do make sure that you own your Google Analytics 4. You're not just a user of it, but you're the actual owner of it. So make sure you have that role designation in Google Analytics, because if you ever decide to do business with or don't do business with them, you want to make sure that you know and you have access to the history of your information and all the data of your customers. So you ask for that, because this belongs to you. And I have sat across from many, many small businesses who don't have access to many things because they trusted and relied that somebody building it for them, even a consultant, was making sure they had access. And they didn't realize they had the minimum role just to see some things like viewer, commentator, or maybe just even manager, but not ownership or admin role, which means that they could take that away from you. And you don't ever want that, because you work really hard and this is your customer information. You own it. So as you look at the left-hand side there, you can also get down to acquisition. What acquisition means is, where did they come from? Understand, did they come directly from a search? So this also helps you understand where you are in your funnel and your branding process. So as I look at this, I can see that people are coming from a direct search. What that means is they are typing in the name of Eva and Ricky's fashion shop, which means Eva and Ricky have done a good job branding. And maybe if that's coming in so much, they don't need to spend so much in their brand awareness, and they need to spend more in truly taking people further down that funnel, building their credibility, letting them know that they are a good vendor or a good supplier or a good store. So as you look at this, direct is good. That means your branding awareness is really working. People understand and search you by name. All right, you'll also see organic search. What that means is, when people are searching organically, they are looking for fashion store, fashion boutique, shop. They're not specifically looking for Eva and Ricky. If organic search was at the very top, then I would recommend to Eva and Ricky, you know what, you need to do some branding. People aren't quite aware of who you are. We as small business owners will get sick and tired of our name and our messaging before anybody even sees it. So you need to stay the course and stay committed, but find out where you can reach your best customers in large amounts, and make sure they see your message and your brand. Where can you find them? Because organic search, if people are finding you there, they're just finding you amongst the industry or commodity of fashion, fashion store, fashion boutique. Cross network, That means that people are actually coming in from another tool. So it could be that they saw you on YouTube, or perhaps they saw you somewhere where they're in Google search and an ad came up. So it could have been there, or just your search results came up because you did really good in your search engine optimization. So what SEO means, it is a big topic, but SEO means search engine optimization, which means you're doing everything on your site to make sure that the search engine can see you and understand you. And understand, if the search engine doesn't see you, and if the algorithm doesn't trust your credibility and really know you, then it cannot serve you high in search because it doesn't feel confident about your business and the information it knows about you. Our job with search engine optimization is to make sure that the search engine feels confident enough that you occupy the first 10 searches of a search, because that really solidifies that you are who you are, you're credible, and not only that, you're great at what you do. And who doesn't want to do business with somebody who's great at what they do? We don't want somebody who was good before or kind of sort of okay. So as we look at acquisition, we can also see if that was a referral. It could be that somebody listed you on your site, a friend of yours, or maybe you did business with a blogger who wanted to talk about your site or your product, and they put a link there from their site to yours. That's what a referral is. Paid search is, of course, ads. So we'll know whether or not ads are driving us. Organic video, so it's not just organic search, but understand that while Google is the #1 search engine in the world, YouTube is #2, and YouTube is owned by Google. That's why it's so important for us to understand these analytics in Google, since that's where the lion's share of people's eyeballs are when they want to know, go do, or buy. And video is where it could be. So it could be that they're looking in video, because people do look in YouTube and do a lot of video searches there, either how to, or where to find things, or really how they can even start putting things together. Now you can also look at engagement. As you're in that left-hand side, you're still in that report snapshot area, that margin, and you're going to go down to engagement, and you can see how much time people spend on your site. This is the superpower of Google Analytics 4. So original analytics, if you had that before, it would measure what people are doing on your site. But if I came in as Maria on my desktop, and then Maria on my mobile, and Maria on my smart TV, it saw me as 3 different Marias. Google Analytics 4 understands that Maria might start the day on her mobile phone after she drops off the kiddos at school. She's going to throw it over to a laptop, pick it up there. Then when she's at desktop after a webinar, she'll work a little bit more, and then the end of the day, she'll move it to the smart TV. But it is still Maria, and it gives you a better understanding, and the search engine a better understanding about who this person is who is interested in your information. So you can see the engagement level, how much time they're spending in. Now, when we were in Universal Analytics, that was old analytics, classic analytics that sunsetted on July 1st as Google Analytics 4 took over. When we were in Universal Analytics, bounce rate was all the rage, right? Everybody wanted to know what their bounce rate was, because we knew that when people came to your site, let's say they come from a post on Instagram, and now they come to your site and they leave in less than a minute, that means they didn't find what they're looking for. They didn't look at anything, they didn't scroll, they didn't click on anything. So that tells you that either there's a mismatch and a disconnect between the messaging that you have here on socials driving them to your site and what they're finding, or you've dropped them into the homepage, which is the biggest mistake that people do when they drop them into their site from someplace else, because they think, and I've sat across from many small businesses, and I've been the small business owner who thought, but I work so hard to get people to come to my site. I want them to see everything, and who knows what they might like, so I want them to be able to pick and choose. That's wrong. You want to take them where you told them you're going to take them. You're still earning credibility and trust. So how do you build trust? You do what you say you're going to do, right? So you take them there, and then when you take them to the page that's like, okay, this is how I select an Airbnb, now you can earn the right to get them to look at the rest, because you can say at the bottom of that, you might want to look at a little bit more to take a look around. So you can see engagement, how long they stay on the site. So this is what we look at now instead of bounce rate, is how long are they on the site, because we're looking at them from all their devices together. How much time are they spending on your site? You also want to know what people are buying. So there's the monetization site, if that's a side of Google Analytics, if that's important for you to know exactly how much it's costing you per click when somebody buys, how much it costs customers cost, so what your average customer cost is, and what the average order value is of your customer, or the lifetime value, because they might have just bought one thing for 14 bucks, but you know that there's a lifetime value, because they're also going to resupply every month, every week, and this may be a $2,000 customer who comes in at $14 each purchase. So you can take a look at this and have a better understanding of their buyer behavior. Now, retention is also very important for us to look at. If you know anything about customers, you know that it takes a tremendous amount of time and money to get a new customer. And when I say customers, nonprofits, these are your donors, these are your volunteers, these are your corporate sponsors, okay, that are your buyers because they are buying you, right? They're buying your cause, they're buying what you're focused on. So as we look here at retention, we know that it's very expensive to bring in a new customer, but it's wonderful if you can hold on to an old customer and you can actually engage them to be an advocate on your behalf, to speak positively to their contact sphere that knows, likes, and trusts them, and to be able to bring them in because they can find people who are like them that could benefit from what you have. So it's really important for us to know our retention, but it also helps us understand what to put on our website. If Eva and Ricky have a lot of returning customers, they may not need to explain all their thread count of their cotton or explain that when you get a shipment, it's going to be 2 separate shipments. So don't freak out when UPS drops off 1 box. You didn't miss half of your shipment and you're not shorted. There's something special that's an extra gift that we have to box up for you. You don't have to explain all that because most of them are returning users. But if it's new users, like we're seeing here on these details of this data, then now we think, well, if we tell them that, hey, don't worry, we're so glad you love us and this, and we don't say anything about the 2 box situation, now you're going to have people mad because they're not familiar with you and they don't understand that that's how you actually operate and deliver to people. So you can also look at tech and see what people are using. If you're making a decision about, okay, I need to install Apple Pay, Amazon Pay, Shop Pay, Klarna, what is it that I do? Or should I use Android? Should I use Google Pay? Well, maybe I should use that because look at that big circle there in the middle. That's a lot of Android people. I better give and make them happy because those would be good. They're already good customers, but this tells me exactly what they're using. And I need to know that. Now, in the new Universal Analytics, or the new, sorry, GA4, Google Analytics 4, you have the ability to use the search box, which operates pretty much like Google search. So it's nothing new for us. We just need to know what we're going to find in it when we are in Google Analytics 4. So we can type these questions out in plain language now. We don't need a data whisperer anymore, but I'm happy to help if you ever need a data whisperer because I know how to do that and what that means in the next decisions you need to make. But you can look yourself right now in that search box. So as you go up here in Google Analytics 4, you'll see that search box at the very top, and you can find out what are the top cities for orders. See that right here at the very bottom third here of that pop-up box that you're seeing that comes out with analytics as you're searching. How many users come from organic search in the last 30 days? Remember what I said, organic search means they're shopping for a fashion boutique. Finding you direct search means they know your actual business name and your business website address to be able to find you. You can also take a look at on what days do I get the most users? Because maybe on those days, that's when I need to launch about newest updates or tell them a little bit about our team members so they feel a little bit more connected, building trust. It really needs and depends on where people are on the funnel and in their journey on what kind of information you need to serve up to them. But you know and you learn that by taking a look and seeing what analytics is tracking for you to help you understand your customer and the way they consume information on your site. So you see there's a lot there. If you look at the left, there's a URL that you can screenshot, but remember you got a copy of today's slides, and let me put that right here again in the chat box for those who came in late. You have a copy of today's slides that I'm using and also the handout, and you'll get a recording, a replay of this afterwards. Yes, there you go, Dennis. We were thinking along the same line, right? A lot of good synergy there. So you'll get a recording. It will be later today when you'll get the recording or tomorrow morning at the latest. But you'll also see when you use this URL, when you get the handout and the slide deck that I'm using, there's another PDF in there. If you always want to stay updated, if there are any changes made to the slide deck, because I will find out quickly, and as soon as I do, I change the slide deck, or the Google team will change the slide deck for me. Now you'll be aware of it and you'll get a notification that things have been updated and changed, so you'll know as soon as I know, which I know pretty quickly. So it's a good place to be if that's of interest to you. You can also set up alerts, which is nice. You can set up alerts in your Google Analytics if something changed to be tracking and you know this is exactly the information you need. Set that up. All of that can be customized where it either alerts you right up here. So there's a little notification. If we move over here to the right, there's a little bell that pops up with notification, or you can get an email from it. And it could be that you want to watch these additional insights and recommendations because it does recommend and let you know, wow, revenue spiked. We also see that people are more likely to, they're more likely to, who are, what says retain users who are more likely to leave faster than other users. So we'll show you who those are, tell you a little bit about who they are, and give you some insight on the information that they need. And that's what's most important here. You're looking for insights, right? Because there's data out there everywhere. Just like we heard at the very beginning, you can find data, you can Google it, you can use AI, Bard, ChatGPT, Claude to find out information. But now, insights are really, it's not just analytics, it's data analytics, and then insights is how you make decisions. What does that mean for your business? How do you apply what you know about your business and what you understand about your customers to the information that you're seeing here in Google Analytics? You can even use explorations to take that deeper dive. So as you take that deeper dive, I like to go through here to see where people came from. So not only do I want to see that they're a paid source, so they came from a paid source, which is a paid ad, I want to know which ad. So I will look into source medium, which medium will tell me, was it TikTok? Was it Pinterest TV? Or was it a Pinterest ad? Was it Instagram ad post? Or was it a Facebook post? Where do people come from? Because now I have to make a decision on where I'm going to spend my time. So I may love being on Instagram, but people are really coming from LinkedIn. So I need to spend a little bit more time there. Now you will have a chance to really see those numbers. So as we look back to Eva and Ricky, and they looked at their information, they smart tested that goal, which we looked at. They looked at those 3 cities. They were not the same. And so they decided to shift their marketing. That is what you do when we talk about decision making and making better business decisions. If you look at your analytics and you realize, you know what, I really wanted to go to Chicago, Detroit, and New York, but even though I love Chicago and that's where some of my family's at, that's not where our business is coming from. So I'm not going to be doing business there. I'm going to focus on Detroit and New York, and eventually we might even open up a shop there, but I'm going to continue looking at that area and making sure it stays profitable for our business, driving and getting us more customers. All right, ask those questions in the chat box as I tell you about the fact that you can link Google Analytics and ads. It's 100% free to your Google Ads platform. You can link Google Analytics. And here's my question to you. If you are running any ads, why are you not linked to Google Analytics? Google Analytics is for free, learning about your customers, what they like, what they don't like. Oh, that video is 2 minutes long and I only watch videos 6 seconds. So no, I'm leaving that video. It's going to give that feedback to Google Ads. So Google Analytics and Google Ads, only when you connect them. So you must connect them. When you connect them, now they speak to each other. And Google Ads can learn more about your customers. That's important because I would much rather Google Analytics say, don't show them a 2-minute video. And Google Ads say, well, that ad that I have for a 2-minute video is only going to go to this target audience because I learned from analytics, those customers don't want the 2-minute video. They want the short 6-second video. I love that learning. And not only that, but it also, remember what I said about search engine optimization? It confirms to the search engine algorithm that you're a real business. If your information and analytics now is connected to Google Ads and both of them are speaking to each other, they're telling each other, you know what? They're a real business. This isn't a hobby. This isn't somebody fishing or somebody trying to do something so spammy online. This is somebody who's really trying to grow their business. We need to work together. So all those pings give confidence to the algorithm and you show higher up in Google search and it costs you absolutely nothing. Okay, so I like to make sure that you're connected here because I know how much money can be lost in Google Ads if it does all the testing on its own. And I know how much money can be saved if you let Google Analytics teach Google Ads who your customers and what that means to them. Okay, now let me see here. I'm going to save, let's see. I'm trying to find out who's checking my website. Do I need to go into Google and set up a separate account using my website or my business email address? You can do that, Jeff, but you can also use your free personal Gmail account. You don't have to set that up. It's not public facing how you're connecting it. Google Analytics is in the back measuring, and you can use any Google account to do that. I think a couple of my accounts, I put my personal Gmail account that has nothing to do with my business at all. So it's just a personal, at gmail.com. How can we link the website with Google Analytics? Bibiana, you already read my mind, and in front of you it shows you how. So when you're in your Google Analytics 4, remember what I said, all the left-hand side is where you can navigate. For most everything on the left side of a Google tool is where you can actually navigate it. Go down here to the gear. See that blue gear icon at the very bottom left-hand corner of that laptop graphic? Now you will see that admin, this admin actual column show up, and you will see that property, which is your website. So it should be the property is your website address, and you're just going to double check that name. It'll show up here, and then you're going to do the Google Ads link. And it's pretty intuitive. You can walk through that. It'll be fill in, connect this, and then you'll be connected to Google Ads. You do need to be logged into the Google account that you created or connected with Google Analytics, and with your Google Ad account, you need to have that opened up or ready to connect. You can utilize a different email address for Google Ads and a different one for Google Analytics. You just have to have both ready so that they're talking to each other when you connect, okay? You mentioned having the owner role. If my boss has that, am I able to? Morgan, yes, you should. Your boss, if they are the owner, they can designate you to have access. Hundreds upon thousands of people can have access to the back end of any of your Google tool. You just have to designate a role for them, okay? Do not ever, let me just warn that now that Morgan has mentioned that about having access, do not ever give your Google password away. This is really important. And the reason I say that is because when you give the password to your Google account or your Gmail account away, you've given away the keys to the kingdom. And I'm serious about this because when, especially, when I was out there really on stage and seeing people, see 100 people line up. I've heard sob stories of, I lost my reviews. I can't access it. I can't get into my analytics, so I don't know my customer data. They won't give me access, and I talked to Google about it. If you've given somebody your password away, they can take that away from you. They can shut you down, your accounts, and they can shut you out. You've given them that much power. Don't ever do that. Always give them a role. There are all roles that you can assign people to any Google tool. Use the roles and assign them with their email address to have access to your account via this role, okay? Can I have an account and manage multiple pages? Yes, 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 Marie, you absolutely can. So you can have several. In fact, as I said, the beauty and the curse of Google accounts is you can have as many as you like. And I actually have one Google account, which I think 100 are associated with. That's normally on average, you can have no more than 100. So that's about the average that you can stay at. All right, okay, I showed Bibiana your answer. Hopefully that answered your question. Let me know in the chat box if you have further questions. Perfect, LaShonda. All right, this is your time to Q&A. For those of you that hung around, this is your time as well, because I will turn off the recording for this part to make sure I preserve your privacy. All right, and it's the benefit for the people who stay here in the room. But if you have questions, this is your resource. The Google partners who invited you, because they are truly vested in your success. They want to help. Okay, and they know your local vendors, your local suppliers, and they can get to know you and be of great help to you. So they're a wealth of knowledge. Please reach out to them. If you have questions for me, understand there's an office hours here. You probably will see that you're on a wait list when you come here. I will open that up later today, so you're getting invited to that if you want to ask me questions directly. I do have a paid private community where I do answer questions for people because sometimes they just need a walkthrough or they want me one-on-one. You're welcome to do that, but understand you don't need to. You've got a lot of free resources here with your Google partners. All right? Let me go ahead and stop the recording.